In India, the lockdown's very intense.
I love this story.
It is wild. And he's like, we can't go outside. Like, we just actually cannot go outside. I was like, so maybe you should do maybe you should do planks or push-ups or something like that. He's, no, I want to run. And I said, do you have a treadmill? No, I don't have a treadmill. I was like, oh, well, that's going to be tough. And he was like, you know what, man? I'm going to run around my living room. I was like, okay, that's kind of funny on the first day. He runs a mile in his living room, 2 miles in his living room. This guy's not a runner, never running. He's running a marathon every single day in his living room.
In his living room. So, here's the thing that was amazing for me. So Colin and I did a little setup before you came on of how we met on this mountain. And what was interesting for me is prior to climbing up and down the mountain with you, had a Sunday running routine that was about 5 miles. So I was running for about an hour's worth of time. And the weekend after we were on the mountain together, I went out on a Sunday to go and run. And because I had fundamentally reframed my capacity in my mind, I now knew that I had capacity that went well beyond what was previously thought to be the bounds of what I could do. The idea of only running 5 miles seemed crazy because I just climbed 13 times, an hour and 40 minutes each time, back to back, 35 hours worth of climbing. And so after that weekend, started running half marathons in my neighborhood for a single reason, which this won't make sense maybe to most people, but I ran 13 miles every weekend after that climb because I knew I could.
Yes.
Because there is something in the power of pushing yourself to do something that is bigger than you believe you can do that totally reframes what you think you can do.
Right. No, it's phenomenal. And I think that this group and the amount of people who just kind of broken through, I create a WhatsApp chain, I write an email just because let's have this community around this. We're all isolated in our own ways. And all of a sudden this group of strangers, have come together as if they're like long lost, lifelong friends. And so the positivity, the support, the love, no one wants anyone to get injured. So if people are having a hard day, people send them a nice video. The community has been amazing. But what you say about recalibrating has blown my mind. So I, in the WhatsApp chain, this guy yesterday, it's day 29. He's running all the miles, he'd never run a marathon before, but now he's running all the miles. So he's run marathon day 26. He's run 27 miles. We're on day 29, and he sends a video to the group, and he's, we're all moving a lot slower right now. Let's be honest. We're tired,
Yeah.
And he's like, guys, I'm really tired. It's the beginning of day 29. He's like, but we're so close to the finish line now. I know we're all going to make it. And that statement hit me as very profound because here's a guy who is literally, we have more than 2 marathons to go. 2 ultra marathons to go, which under any normal circumstance, we have 58 more miles to run in 2 days. And he's like, guys, at this point, we're just so close to the finish line now. Because to your point about the mountain, about the half marathons run, he had recalibrated his idea of what his capacity was. And without even realizing it, he was saying, I got these other 2. These are like a victory lap. I'm going to move slow, whatever, but we have got that. And that is the power of this experience. Why I believe, whether it's running or anything, that when we test ourselves in the furnace of adversity, when we challenge ourselves, we come out of those experiences with whatever we want to do in our life. It could be music, entrepreneurship, love, business, anything you want to do. When you recalibrate that doesn't go down. You haven't lost that. You keep that ability to say, whoa, what else could I do if I reset my threshold of what I think is possible?
Yeah, here's the thing. There's such an analogy. I love that you're doing it in the midst of this. Someone's asking, do your feet hurt? Of course his feet hurt.
Yes.
Is your body sore? Of course your body's sore, right? And of course there's soreness. But I think there's something powerful in the analogy of doing this in this time because we are, all of us, putting ourselves through a strain, a breaking down of muscle, a change in how we experience the headwinds of life, that as we're able to stay connected to what it means to have gone through it, will totally rewire how we think about handling adversity and walking towards hard things in the future. And
100%.
It's one of those things where I don't ever want any of us to have to experience what's happening in 2020 again. but I do believe that we will connect with some feeling of gratitude, whether it's 6 months, 2 years, or 10 years from now, to how this time forged who we became because of it having pushed us beyond the bounds of what we believed our capacity to be and reframed the way we thought about how we could handle hard things.
100%, 100%. And, you know, one thing I want to mention here that I'm really proud of with this community is one of the things I said is, you know, Jesse Itzler, who's a mutual friend, who, of course, you know, from the mountain, he had done this in February, and we had said, hey, if people get involved, we didn't know if a lot of people would get involved or not. We're going to donate, you know, 1 meal per everyday people participate up to 10,000 meals for the COVID frontline. And as a result of everyone's participation around the world, you know, we're donating 10,000 meals to the frontline workers, which is, you know, look, like I have the things that I'm good at, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not a policeman. I'm feeling helpless during this time. And I think a lot of people in this community feeling the same way, but wanting to do something. By getting out there, by having some own personal growth, it's also amazing to know that it's kind of having at least a small net benefit in the community through this charitable donation. So,
awesome.
you know, really proud of that as well.
That's awesome, man. I love it. All right, so how many miles are you in this morning? You're on the West Coast, so it's earlier for you.
Yeah. I'm just warming up. Let's see. I'm 2 miles in, so I got 28
just
miles
28 to go.
Exactly, just 28 to go. No big deal. But you know, everyone out there listening, I could use some some encouragement throughout the day. So, a few more hours pass by, you still think that guy's still out there running these last 30 miles. Come say hello, come drop a note. I could use that as rocket fuel. Or also, if you look up the hashtag Calendar Club, there's been so many people from this community, you know, posting and stuff like that, and just the stories of people. I mean, it brings tears to my eyes every single day. Of, you know this, Dave, and what I love so much about this is, when you set a goal, a lot of people, you know, and their families or whomever, kids at home, you know, the first week or so, people are like, your family members are kind of like, what is he doing? That's kind of crazy. But at this point, people's families, people's communities, people's friends have rallied around them, people's neighbors who see them running up and down the street every day. So there's people writing sidewalk chalk, you know, husbands, wives coming out at the finish line of this thing, AKA your driveway.
Yeah.
And it's just been beautiful to see what that is. And I'm such a big believer in sharing these experiences, as I know you are, because it just creates those ripple effects. You know, each person you guys touch at a conference or an event, that person goes home and impacts the next person in their life, the next person in their life. So it's amazing, man. I'm proud of that. And I got to say, while I got you on the phone, bro, I'm so proud of you. I'm so freaking proud of you.
What?
We hung out at the end of February, and my book had recently come out. We were talking about book tour because I was in the midst of mine, and you were, you know, gearing up for yours a couple weeks out. I know there's been some sadness about being able to do this, but you're a freaking New York Times bestseller. I know everyone here on this knows this, but Dave, I'm so freaking proud of you, man. Like, the book's amazing. If you haven't read Dave's book, read it. It's a must read. I blurbed it. I was proud to blurb it. And I'm just proud of you to known you a little bit through the journey of getting it out there in the world, and to know that the last time I saw you was just about to launch. I know that nervous energy in my own soul from my own journey, and I'm just proud of you, man. And I'm also so proud of you guys. I'm so excited for you guys on your event on Saturday with the digital conference, man. It's going to be, I know, again, like you said, it's recalibrating, it's pivoting, it's shifting. It's probably not what anyone expected on May 2nd, 2020, when you guys sat down and wrote your goals for this year. But I'm just proud to know you guys, because you're making the most of a challenging situation, man. I love you guys.
Oh, man, we love you guys too. Here's the thing, like, you are watching in real time, Mutual Admiration Society. Like, this is a human who, in the midst of my journey to becoming who I'm becoming, has been instrumental in just like being a reinforcing voice that pushes back any of those negative voices that would otherwise keep me from continuing on my journey. And man, now I got to root even harder for you to finish these 28 miles. Dang it, I hate that.
Yeah, we gotta get my run on today. I gotta finish this thing off. So,
well, all right, brother. Hey, be strong out there. Love you, man. Thanks for jumping in and encouraging this crew of humanity. Shoot me a note when you're done. Tell me how you're actually relaxing and celebrating the fact that you don't have to run tomorrow.
Exactly. People keep asking, are you restarting tomorrow on the 1st? I'm like, no.
No.
1 month was good. I'm proud of that. Much love to everyone out there. And like Dave said, And our dear friend Mike Posner says as well, keep going, keep going, keep going.
That is right.
All right.
Keep going. All right, brother. Keep going, man. Proud
All right.
of you.
All right.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know Colin, you got to follow Colin. You got to jump into Colin's world. He did this crazy thing where he walked, like I said, unassisted across Antarctica, where he was dragging, Colin O'Brady is his name, dragging his supplies so that he could make it all the way from one side of the continent to the other. He recently was in a boat where he went across the little piece of land, a little piece of water that goes from South America to Antarctica. Unbelievable. But he's a good dude, but he's always trying to, in the work that he does, push himself, of course, but in pushing himself, inspire other people to think differently about how they might be able to push themselves as well. And here, in the midst of this quarantine, in the midst of what for some of us feels like, man, a wall of sorts. Drake Passage is the name, that is correct. What feels like maybe a wall for some of us, it's been a thing that I have to actively do. Find people who have found a way to push themselves beyond what they believed their personal capacity was, so that I, in seeing their example, might be able to believe in my own ability to push past what I believe my capacity to be. And here's the thing, you're not gonna feel it every single day. I definitely don't feel it every single day. So finding other people who in their stories, in their experiences can inspire you to believe, forget about it. I mean, it's amazing. Rachel and I went for a run this morning in real time, right? Rachel and I went for a run this morning. And I was feeling the run. And Rachel, I'll be honest, Rachel was not feeling the run. She just wasn't. She woke up this morning and was like, I don't know if I can run. You might have to run without me. And like on a day like today, I was leading out on our run. I was the one that was running faster. She was, because I was pacing, trying to keep up with our pace. And there are going to be days where you are the pace setter, and there are going to be days where you need to find someone who can pace you. And I get it. Not everyone gets to live with Rachel Hollis, but finding someone, whether it's inside of this community, whether it's inside of your home, whether it's in a book or a podcast, that can set the pace for you, that can, on the days where you're struggling to believe that you should keep going, or frankly, not even that you should, that you can keep going, is it's a crucial, it's a totally important thing, especially as we hit these thresholds where, oh my goodness, it feels like it's harder today than it has been. Or, oh my goodness, it feels like it's been going on for so long, I don't know if I have the capacity to keep going. You have the capacity to keep going. You just need to find a way to connect with someone who believes it more than you might today, because in their ability to set a pace for you, you'll be able to keep up and keep the momentum even on the days that you don't feel like it. Trust, there are plenty of days where I have to turn to Ray, to someone in this community, someone like Colin, to pace me so that I can show up and get moving, so that in acting the way I want to feel, I'm able to manufacture, to engineer the kind of motivation that some days I struggle to have, right? Oh, someone said, did you Rachel Hollis her? I don't even know that I have that in my being, but I did my best to try and Rachel Hollis my wife. Hey, there are 2 more days left, y'all. Rachel is in real time working through all of the things with the team to make sure that everything is working in the background for the launch of the Rise Live conference. It happens on Saturday, which is the day after tomorrow. Today is Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. On Saturday, starting at 9 a.m. Central Time, going till 5 p.m. or maybe a little bit after 5 p.m. Central Time. We're going to have 8+ hours of content. It is going to be an absolutely incredible, incredible day. And if you have not found your way to getting a ticket to come, I want to encourage you to do so. It's Rachel and I, obviously, but then it's also John Maxwell and Donald Miller and Ed Milet and Jen Hatmaker and Eric Thomas and Britt Barron, and you can still buy tickets. They start at $40, and they are amazing. Where's the workbook? The workbook is coming to everyone tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. We were just making sure that it is perfect, that it is absolutely perfect. So it will be there in just a moment. We are. I've seen the content from the speakers that will be having their content broadcast, not live. Like Rachel and I, all of our stuff is live, but the other and it's so incredible. It is so incredible. I just really want to encourage you, if you can, jump on. If you can't, right? If $40 is outside of the bounds of what you can afford right now, guess what? We are doing the next 90-day challenge. You are in the midst of the next 90-day challenge. I want to encourage you to enjoy all of the free content for the 14 weeks of these 90 days. We are 4 weeks in. We're 4 or 5 weeks in. But if you can't afford it, you want to be a part of community, you want to be poured into, there will be 8 full hours of content. Tickets are available right up until the show starts at 9 a.m. Central Time on Saturday. It is going to be incredible. What about the pop-up shop? Do we get an email? That is part of what Rachel Hollis is working on in real time. I think as we were running this morning, there was recognition that an email probably needs to go out to alert people to the fact that the pop-up shop is available to y'all. So patience is going to be a part of this as well. We're figuring out things in real time, but all of those things are going to be taken care of as quickly as possible. I see people asking, when do we get the VIP boxes? That is a good question. I will make sure that I have an answer for that. They are working to, of course, have things delivered to you as soon as is possible. And as soon as is possible is something that we are pushing on, but also because of everything that happens with quarantine and how things are working, maybe just a little bit longer than normal, but I don't think it's going to be too much longer. So anyway, I am excited about Saturday. I mean, I'm sad in some ways that the thing that people were most excited about that I've ever talked about on social media was what outfit I'm going to wear on Saturday. That happened. So thank you. Appreciate that. But if you are interested in Saturday, but Saturday is compromised in some way because of your having to work or your ability to, actually sit and spend 8 hours doing it, there are opportunities with the different ticket tiers to have access to the content for longer than Saturday. So if you were interested in, if you bought a premiere ticket, for example, you get 7 days worth of time to watch the conference, so you can watch it for all of that week. The VIP tickets go for a couple of weeks, so there is some time. If you have any questions, head over to thehollisco.com. All of the information is there. There's a frequently asked questions thing, and we're ready to go. Oh, Moxie says that shirt. You know what? This shirt is a recognition of the fact that I am going to drive in my Bronco today, because sometimes when I drive my Bronco, I like to put on a shirt, drive around like a cowboy. Feels like the thing to do on a Thursday out here in Hill Country, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to believe that you're going to have a fantastic day today, to look for the people who might, in setting a pace, affirm that you are capable of keeping one, even if you are not feeling like you can. There are pace setters out there. If it happens to be myself or Rachel, awesome. If it happens to be someone like Colin, awesome. If that lives inside of a book or a podcast, awesome. But please find someone who can help give you the confidence that you are able to persevere through this season. I want to encourage you, keep going. If you're struggling today, if you are struggling in any way, that struggle is a recognition of your humanity. It is a completely normal thing to struggle, but also it's going to be something that in your seeing it as being normal, that you also have to choose to keep going. So let's keep going. Let's have ourselves a fantastic day. And Rachel and I, Ray Hollis, back tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great Thursday, everybody.